Luxury Beats. Luxray Beats.
One of us, are we good?
Yeah, I think we are.
I'm about to go live. I'll bring y'all in. Come one, come all. WFL season draft special in the house. Analysts tonight are going to be myself, which is Juke, Winnibus, and Too Cold. What's going on, guys?
Nothing much, brother. Good to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it. And I understand that you've been studying up on these defensive backs and can give us some insight as the picks go tonight. And we'll rely on Win for pretty much everybody else. Along with me, I have stats pulled up and things like that. So we're going to have some fun tonight. Just waiting to kick off the draft. Too Cold, I'll start with you. What are you most excited to see tonight?
Well, honestly, the secondary, there's actually a good group of talent here for the first time. And with the way it's going, like a couple of these players, I think, are going to make an immediate impact on the teams. There are a few teams that are kind of soft when it comes to cornerbacks and safeties. And there's a good crop of guys here, at least in the first round, that I think are going to be amazing and be studs real quick. So I'm excited about that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Who do you think your top defensive back would be if you were picking high in this draft?
Oh, without a doubt, it's going to be Brian Branch. I mean, he's a beast. He's coming out of Alabama. The guy is a stud. He's already playing at a high level. I mean, all around, just a physical beast. And he's still young. He's still going to grow. So Brian Branch from Alabama, the strong safety, my favorite position for sure, without a doubt.
Win, are you with us?
I am with you, good sir.
All right. On the offensive side of the ball, who do you think the best in the biz is right now?
It's hard to get away from the quarterback position, the most important position in the sport. So you've got to look at either Bryce Young, you've got to look at Will Levis, you've got to look at C.J. Stroud. Those three two quarterback needy teams are going to go very quickly. I think Bryce Young is probably the best of the bunch. But that's not a knock on Will Levis or on C.J. Stroud at all. I think it's going to be quarterback heavy first off. But yeah, quarterbacks, there's not a lot of depth in this quarterback class. There's a few it's very top heavy. But the ones that are at the top are the cream of the crop. So I like Young, I like Levis, and I like C.J. Stroud going early in this draft.
Okay, well, quick shout out we'll dive back into that in just a second, but quick shout out to Sick Edits. You see the highlights on the stream here. This guy does amazing work. I don't know him personally, but I did borrow all of his footage for tonight. So any draft picks that you see that have highlights with them, the main screen here where we're watching TCU's top talent, pick apart defenses right there. That's all due to Sick Edits, and anybody should go check out. Anybody that loves football should go check out his videos and subscribe to his channel. I think he's fantastic highlight reel aficionado. Diving back to what you said when you were talking about the quarterbacks, and we've seen teams jump in this draft. Washington came up. Houston is a quarterback needy team. I would say that Detroit is looking to. I think they cut Goff. Is that correct?
That is correct. They are looking for their quarterback of the future as well, and I think they were looking forward to being able to maybe get lucky with the Panthers at the time being the CPU squad. I think they were hoping that the Panthers would maybe skip quarterback and they'd get either a Bryce Young or a C.J. Stroud to kind of fall in their lap. But with the introduction of Ruffles coming back and taking over the Panthers and then moving out of that second overall selection and trading it to Washington, I think Washington, even though they have Sam Howell, I think they could be looking quarterback. But if I was a betting man, I think I think Washington and the Commanders are going to go defense. I feel like they might go with what they feel is the best defender on the board, and I think the best defender on this board is Will Anderson, the outside linebacker slash defensive end out of Alabama. It's going to be an Alabama heavy draft at the top, I feel like.
They call Will Anderson the Terminator, and for good reason. He has the quickest 0 to 10 yards. He's faster than Isaiah Simmons was in a 0 to 10 yard race. He gets there. They said they clocked him at 10 miles an hour from 0 to 10 yards already. Just bam, like that. So he's very fast. Talk to me about Bijan Robinson, top running back in this class. Where could you see him going?
I think especially in this league where running is more and more important than in normal Madden leagues, a guy like Bijan Robinson, who's the all-around package out of Texas, is 6'2", 214 pounds. He's got the bruising capability to run over you. He's got the moves to run around you and run and juke you out of your shoes. I could see him. I don't think he's going to go super high up in this draft, but I know he's not going to make it out of the first round. I could see teams. I could even see maybe a Carolina who traded back. I think even though they did sign Kareem Hunt in free agency, I could see them going for a young 1-2 punch to go with Kareem Hunt. Although they are needing quarterback as well. I could see a team perhaps like maybe the Jaguars who let James Robinson go. I know they have Travis Etienne there in the fold, but maybe they get a Bijan Robinson / Travis Etienne and let Etienne be their third down receiving back and let Bijan be the more heavy duty all around purpose back. And then you have two guys there in the backfield that are on rookie contracts, which is always good.
Okay, yeah. Bijan Robinson, just to give it his stat line, 258 attempts, 1,580 yards, 6.1 yard average, 18 touchdowns on the ground there at Texas, who struggled throughout the season. They had their ups and downs, but he was the main heartbeat of that team behind a young Quinn Ewers. And all right, well, let's see. Let's talk about. We haven't talked about receiver yet. Who is your top wide receiver in this class? A lot of speed, a lot of height out there.
There's a lot of big boys out there from doing the draft board. There's a lot of big guys. Most of these guys though are not top 5, top 10 talent though. We're going to see them go later on in the first round. You've got guys like Jordan Addison out of USC, Jackson Smith Njigba, which I'm probably butchering the pronunciation of, out of Ohio State. Quentin Johnston out of TCU after a disappointing performance in the championship game. He will go in the first round, but maybe a little bit of a draft stock fall due to that poor performance in the championship game. But you talk to those three guys right there, none of them are under 6 foot, and Quentin Johnston weighs in at 6'4", 200 pounds. For those teams that are looking for a guy with some speed and some playmaking on the outside and some size, those three are really good ones, but don't sleep on Jalen Hyatt out of Tennessee. A guy who's going to probably go near the end of the first round, second round. He's got some top-end speed. I believe he clocked in at 4.36 at the NFL Combine with a 4.30 at his pro day. So he is one of the top-tier speed demons in this draft. So if you're looking for speed and size at 6 foot, Jalen Hyatt might be your guy. And we all know, especially in the Madden League, speed is king. So Hyatt could possibly jump these guys with that 40 time.
Talked to the Falcons earlier in the week. Stud, the GM out in Atlanta, out there, personal friend of mine. He might be looking at receiver. Really, those Falcons need all kinds of help everywhere. He already told me they're looking best player available, and they pick it at 17, which is kind of shocking given their roster status. They really middle of the road there for. Kind of a poor man's roster, honestly. Not a lot of talent on that team. Got a developing quarterback. He's got his work cut out for him. Self-proclaimed. He told me that. I'm not trying to run him into the ground or anything. But Falcons are somebody I could see, picking up a wide receiver in the middle of the round like you were talking about, and you probably just gave him a lot to think about if he's listening to the show here. Notable picks in the first 10 with talented rosters. I would put Eagles. Eagles are picking 9th. That's due to the Saints pick, though, right? Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah, they have the Saints pick in the first round. It ended up being, I believe, 9th overall.
What do you think the Eagles do tonight? Where do you think they're looking? Their roster is stacked, but they'll probably go best player available, you think?
I think they might go BPA. I wouldn't be surprised if they lean on improving their defense with their BPA. There'll be some corners, maybe like a Joey Porter, maybe like a Khalil Ringo. Somebody in that range could potentially go to the Eagles and bolster that secondary. Then there's an unsexy pick, but a good pick would be maybe bolster that offensive line, protect Jalen Hurts, keep him out of harm's way, keep him vertical.
Yeah, because old boy that plays tackle for them is pretty old, right?
Yeah, Lane Johnson's getting up there. He's 32 on the right side, and then they have a young guy on the left side that I'm struggling to remember his name off the top of my head. But they do need some youth, especially at center. Jason Kelsey's not getting any younger. The interior had some retirements over the last couple of years. Brandon Brooks retired a year or two ago. So they're getting a little long in the tooth. So maybe taking an offensive lineman with that tie-in pick that they basically got as a gift from the Saints. Wouldn't be a bad option. It's not a sexy option, but it is a good option to keep Jalen Hurts and that passing game going.
Okay, well, last team I want to talk about before we dive into the draft. Got about a minute here before we get things kicked off. Lions. The Rams said F them picks, went out and won them a Super Bowl, but they left the Lions super excited tonight, and Polio's got to be – he's picking twice in the top 5. Where do you think the Lions go? Obviously, we talked about quarterback, but that second pick, what do you think that second pick is? Do you think that's Jalen Carter?
Knowing Polio like I do, he loves him some corners. So because I didn't super dive into the realm of the defensive backs, but again, the guys I mentioned for the Eagles at 9, maybe a Joey Porter, maybe a Khalil Ringo, a Christian Gonzalez. Polio loves to have him a deep secondary. So some guys in that could be potential in that range. He might also do a cartwheel if somehow Will Anderson falls, so a good pass rusher to pair up with Hutchinson. There's all kinds of things, and that's the nice thing about having those 2 picks in the top 5 is basically he's going to go quarterback with one of them, and basically he can just kind of – I've seen him go defense. I predict corner, but he's going to go defense with that second pick. He's going to go quarterback with 3, and then best defensive player on his board at 5.
Cole, do you get me? You hear me? Cole.
He's muted right now.
Yeah, his dog barking in the background.
There.
Which DB are the Lions taking with that 5th overall pick? Call it right now.
I mean, it would make sense. Like I said, I think Brian Branch is amazing, but they might go Kelly Ringo.
Okay, well, boys, we're headed into the draft room, and here we go. Let's kick this off. Texans are on the clock. Let's see. Could it be the young Bryce? Well, no pun intended. Bryce Young. Could he go to Texans right here? We'll find out here in just a second. When also Texans GM will be making his pick here shortly. Did you watch any Bryce Young? Did you watch any Alabama football this year?
Oh yeah, man! Of course, it's impossible to avoid. They're on national TV every week.
Right. Bryce Young had 3,328 yards. A lot of people think this will be the pick, and it is. We will.
Easy decision.
Let's talk Bryce Young here for a minute. You see his highlights popping up on the screen there. Commanders are now on the clock, but Bryce Young, 3,328 yards, 32 touchdowns, 5 picks.
Amazing.
And Will Levis goes second on the board. Win. Talk to me about your newest quarterback, my friend.
Well, we told everybody all week that we were going to be going with a guy from Alabama with the first pick. I was in talks with Polio trying to get picks 3 and 5 out of him for one because I was trying to exploit his love for a quarterback. We ultimately didn't come to an agreement, which is understandable. 2 picks in the top 5 is hard to pass up. I need talent everywhere, and I've got some wide receivers that need growth. I've got some young guys, Nico Collins, John Mechie. Picked up one of my favorite players, Deon Kane, this offseason. And then I also picked up DJ Chark in free agency as well. I've got a young but inexperienced wide receiver core. I've got some solid tight ends in O.J. Howard and Brevin Jordan. I've got an improving O-line. I need a franchise quarterback, and that's what this guy gives me. That's what Bryce Young gives me as a franchise quarterback. So that was I thought about Will Anderson. I really need a pass rusher as well. I told everybody I need pass rusher, need quarterback. Both the top guys are from Alabama. So I was like, let's do this. And so I talked to both guys, and ultimately it just came down to I trade Davis Mills, and once I traded Davis Mills, that sort of kind of, let my hand be known that I was going to go after Bryce. So.
Okay, well, Win, I don't mean to cut you off, but the next pick, Will Levis, their GM just walked in the studio with us. Rim, tell us about Will Levis and what made you pick him and over a CJ Stroud.
Well, plain and simple, Commanders need a quarterback. They've needed a quarterback for years. We were leaning towards the linebacker out of Alabama, but we figured, we're not going to be picking this high again for a while, so why not go with the star QB? After watching the scouting tape and watching everything else, we figured that he'd be a better fit for the offense and for the scheme that we have more than CJ Stroud. It's not a knock on CJ Stroud. He looked very good as well, but we feel very confident with Will Levis and that he'll lead us back to a championship.
All right, my friend. Well, we appreciate you. We're going to get on to the Lions pick. There's CJ Stroud right there. We're going to try and get Polio in here. I'm not sure if he's available, but let's see. And we will fire off some CJ Stroud highlights here. Let's talk CJ Stroud. Win. What'd you like out of him in his last season with the Buckeyes?
I liked his overall growth and decision making as the season progressed. He really became a leader for that Ohio State squad as the season went on to the point where it was a surprise to see Ohio State there in the college football playoff. Nearly pull off an upset there in the college football playoff. It was definitely not anything that CJ Stroud did wrong that cost Ohio State that game, but you like the arm talent, obviously. You like the mobility in today's WFL. You have to have a mobile quarterback, a guy who can move around the pocket, who can move around and make plays with his feet, not necessarily to run a la Lamar Jackson, but somebody that can basically extend plays and keep something alive to let receivers and let playmakers get open. And CJ Stroud definitely gives you that element in the WFL. He will be a top tier WFL quarterback, I feel like, especially going to a rejuvenated Polio as far as passing game goes.
Speak of the devil. Polio, are you with us? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off with their win. Polio, talk to us about your latest pick, brother.
I couldn't believe Stroud dropped to me. He's a little more mobile of a quarterback. I think he really can lead this rejuvenated Lions offense with Swift and now with Brandon Cooks along with St. Brown and Jamison Williams. I really think he'll improve this offense and be the cornerstone for a long time coming.
Awesome, man. Well, do you want to make this next pick live on the air with us? You want to announce it? Heck yeah, let's get this going.
Can't let Will Anderson drop any further, can you?
Oh, Will Anderson. Nice. Great pick, buddy. Let's see.
Alongside Aiden Hutchinson, that's going to be an elite pass rush.
Yeah, that was a good.
Yeah, Will Anderson, the Terminator, his highlights are flashing on the screen now. Let's talk about him. What drew you to him, Polio?
You got Aiden Hutchinson on one end. You got to get someone on the other end to go and get to the quarterback. I think Jeff Okudah will really appreciate this team getting to the quarterback really early, along with Mike Hughes and Anthony Brown. I think this defense can really blow some plays up quick with that pass rush.
Okay, well, we appreciate your time, my friend. Panthers are on the clock. Let's see what they do. They're gonna pull the string on Hooker, or we'll see him later in the round maybe. Appreciate you, brother. All right, let's get this thing going. Panthers on the clock, minute to go. Are they? The Cardinals. There it is. Miles Murphy going to the left end. And with that, we're going to take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen, because I pick, and I'm not about to show you guys my draft board on the screen while I pick. So
come on, man.
We're going to hit F12 right here, and we'll be right back.
He's making his pick. I want to talk a couple of picks back. I was going to say a surprise there by the Steelers taking Anthony Richardson, and I will say I had a little bit of insider info. Carolina Panthers were looking to take Anthony Richardson there at 6. That's why they traded down to get some extra capital. They hoped that their guy would fall, but apparently Chill and the Steelers snag AR-15, the quarterback out of Florida. A bit of a surprise going that high up in the draft, but a guy that's a project, and it's surprising because the Steelers already have Kenny Pickett under contract there. So it's a little bit of a shock to see that, but I will state for the record, I don't care what the Lions do the rest of this draft, they've won this draft.
He said
Period.
it's already settled.
They got the second best quarterback, and they got the best pass rusher on the board.
Yeah.
The Lions could go to sleep right now and trade every pick they have and win this draft. Nobody's beating that.
Agreed.
That was an amazing setup. And then we had the Cardinals and Juke picking Kelee Ringo, cornerback out of Georgia. You're the defensive back guru. I'll let you discuss this guy.
I mean, that was actually a solid pick too. But I agree with you all the way, Manus, for sure. And that's why we already know that's why he went to the Lions. 2 top 5 picks is impossible to ignore or pass up on, and he did well. Like he definitely has an opportunity to build that team into a legit squad. But yeah, I mean, as of now, it seems like it's been nothing but quarterbacks so far. So there are still some real defensive studs. I don't think we've seen really any. I don't think we've seen a cornerback pick yet, or the safeties that I mentioned earlier. So yeah, there's still some studs out there to get. But yeah, for sure, Lions has already walked away with this.
Carr just took Ringo cold. Talk to us about him, and then I'll give my 2 cents.
Are you talking about Kelly Ringo?
Yes, yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Ringo, I was like, who? But anyway, yeah, Ringo is a beast. Honestly, he was the top cornerback in the 2020 scouting class in real life, and he's a beast. I mean, it's funny, in his senior year in high school, he was a running back. He recorded 712 rushing yards, 13 touchdowns as a running back, and then goes on to Alabama, he went to Georgia, but 30-plus teams had given Ringo an offer. He passed up on Alabama, Ohio State, Notre Dame, and went to Georgia Bulldogs. So imagine that, as a running back in high school, to get 30-plus offers and then go on to become obviously a secondary and be a cornerback. But he's had a really solid stint so far. 2021, 34 tackles, 2 interceptions, standing at 6'2", 205 pounds. He's a solid built guy already at his age. I think he's only going to get better. And there's rumors that that's a false number. They said in 2021, his teammates were saying he went all the way up to 220 pounds. And he is a hitter. He is quick. But the main thing about him that I love is he did track and field, and he won a 100-meter dash in Arizona, and he runs a 10.43 in a 100-meter dash, which doesn't sound like it means a lot in football, but it does, because what that means is he will not get burnt by any receiver down the field. No matter what, he will keep up with them all the way from 1 yard to 100. So that's what I love about him. He's actually one of my favorites. The only improvements I see on him, he doesn't really lower his shoulder. There have been some broken tackles on some of his highlights, but like I said, Ringo is a stud. He would make an immediate impact, and he's definitely my top cornerback in this draft.
Well, speaking for the Cards myself, I'm the GM of them. So what stood out when he's paired with other great cornerbacks, which we have 2 in Mullen and gosh, he just gave me my name. Anyway, we got 3 great cornerbacks now, and we're trying to keep up. We're trying to limit the receiver power that the 49ers have and the Seahawks have and the Rams have. There's a lot of great wide receivers in the NFC West, and that's what we're trying to build here. We're trying to shut them down. So yeah, I appreciate your analysis there, and it's dead on. Christian Gonzalez just went off the board to the Bears. Bengals are on the clock now. Kind of see what Rusta Busta does here. He'll probably hop in the chat with us here in a second and talk to us about his pick. I can see that Polio in the chat is pumped about both of his, and that's fantastic. Going back to my pick, I will say I'm a little disappointed that Ringo is a normal dev, but he comes with the ability to play right away. So we're excited about that.
For sure, definitely he's going to be developed and he'll turn into a stud. I wouldn't I wouldn't throw him right in the mix, especially in that gauntlet of a division you're in, as you mentioned earlier. But he definitely has a lot of potential for sure.
Ooh, first receiver off the board. Oh, speaking of receivers, Bengals trying to load up. They got T. Higgins. They got Jamar Chase. Can't leave that name out of my mouth. And now they have Jalen Hyatt, wide receiver out of Tennessee, Hoker's #1 target.
That is an excellent pick for the Bengals and just giving weapons for Joe Burrow. That's quite a pick there, and that doesn't surprise me. Jalen Hyatt, like I talked about before we started the show, he was a guy that he had a great 40 time at the combine, great 40 time at his pro day. So no surprise there that he goes this high. But to the Bengals was a surprise. But the Bengals just are loading up on weaponry there.
Win, let me pause you for a minute. We got Chesky in, Eagles GM. Talk to us about Jalen Carter, my guy.
Well, when it comes down to it, you have to stop the run, and I figured pairing Jordan Davis with him is just gonna give the whole NFC fits.
Well, you may have just pissed off the Patriots because they took Brian Bresee right behind you there. Jalen Carter is a stud. A lot of talk about him going #1 in real life, possibly, but obviously not with these quarterbacks and anything. But I mean, #1 defensive player overall, right? So, huge stud. Great pickup for you. Did they share? Is he hidden or is he normal?
Raiders are on the clock.
He's hidden.
Okay, nice. Congratulations on your pick, buddy. Well, we'll I'm sure we'll have you back on in the second round when you pick again. No, you have another pick, don't you, coming up?
Yeah, I pick 27.
All right, well, we'll talk to you then, my friend. Appreciate it. Chargers just took Tyree Wilson, left end out of Texas Tech. What can you say about him, Win?
I'm sorry, I was looking at something else on the Discord. What's going on?
No, it's okay. It's okay. Totally fine. Rusta Busta just hopped in. Talk to us about your newest receiver and your newest weapon to pair with the other two already outstanding receivers you got, Rusta.
Hey, I figure that wide receiver room, iron sharpens iron, right? So, today, he's got a lot of people he's got to try and beat out to get on the field. So, and more weapons for Burrow. I was leaning linebacker. Quite frankly, I was torn, but I definitely didn't see Anderson falling that far, even though he fell further than I thought he would. I just didn't see anybody else at that position that I wanted to take, and I realized no one had taken a receiver, so this is the only crack I'm going to get at a player like Hyatt, so I jumped all over it.
Panthers back on the clock. Here comes Ruffles again with his second pick in the first round. Appreciate you, Rusta. Thank you for dropping by and giving us that insight on your now fully stocked wide receiver room. That's fantastic, my friend. Congratulations. So Paris Johnson just taken by the Jets, and then Falcons are on deck. We're gonna see, what GM Studley, as I was alluding to earlier, is going to come in here and do. I'm kind of excited to see what Ruffles does here first, though. Where do you think he goes with this pick, Win?
Carolina's in a bit of a rebuild stage. They take defense there early on in the draft. I could see them doubling down on defense, but I could also see them going with a wide receiver here, giving more weapons to a future franchise quarterback. It's really rough. Ruffles is in a good spot because he's got picks and he's got tons of needs everywhere. So at this point, he can go BPA and just kind of take whatever he feels is the best player on his board. I did like the Johnson Jr. pick from Ohio State for the Jets. They've been steadily solidifying that O-line over the last couple of years to protect Zach Wilson. I know in real life Zach Wilson hasn't had a great season, has kind of fallen in bad favor. But it's never bad to invest in your offensive line in the NFL, no matter who is behind center, because you can have a run game, and if they can keep a quarterback upright, most quarterbacks can do a lot of damage.
Zach Wilson's still, through our offseason programs and things like that, he's still very, very manageable for Kobe, and this solidifies that, gives him a little bit more time to pass, probably 1 or 2 seconds there that's needed. it is fantastic
It's the
that.
Atlanta Falcons now
Oh, Jordan Addison off the board. Oh wow, let's see. We got highlights of Mr. Addison here as they pop up on the screen for you. Addison once was at Pitt and then transferred out to USC. Win, what can you tell us about the Panthers' newest addition?
Jordan Addison's a big guy, not the fastest guy in this draft class by any stretch of the imagination, but he's going to have good speed. He'll pair up well with DJ Moore out there, provide the Panthers a solid number 2 option instantly right out of the gate. You can just see the weapons beginning to open up for Ruffles in that Panther offense. Still got to find somebody to throw the football to him. But having weapons is never a bad thing, especially in rookie contracts. And Addison gives them a legit number 2 weapon with good size, good speed, basically an all can do everything type of wide receiver out of Southern California.
Addison, 875 yards on the season, 8 touchdowns. Really shared. The ball was really spread around in USC, so I'm not really worried about the fact that he doesn't have 1,000 yards or whatever. Caleb Williams did an excellent job, threw for 4,500 and spread the ball around really, really well. And then there's another Johnston out of TCU, back to back. We got highlights for them as well. Let's see, Quentin Johnston, where is he?
Wide receivers are starting to go off the board now as those wide receiver needy teams kind of start to come up in this draft. Quentin Johnston, again, a big boy, not the fastest or fleetest of foot, but definitely fast enough. And you can see with Studley there, he's got Drake London from last year's draft, a big-bodied physical wide receiver. He puts another big-bodied wide receiver in Quentin Johnston alongside of him. Now you basically have guys that you can throw jump balls to. You have guys you can run slants and ends on. Big physical guys that'll basically brace for contact and get in there and get the football for their quarterback, who's I believe is going to be Desmond Ritter going into this season. And then you have Broderick Jones, one of the top tackles in this draft, going to the Packers, and the rich just get richer there. Yep. Again, not a sexy pick from the Packers, but O-line's never a bad thing. David Bakhtiari is not going to last forever. Always good to have his potential replacement in play, and you have that with Broderick Jones, a solid pass protector out of Georgia, a guy that can learn behind Bakhtiari for a year and maybe potentially replace him when Bakhtiari's contract comes up.
Hey, when Stud just hopped in the booth, Stud, talk to me about your newest addition here. You told me you might go wide receiver. Where in your mind did you think that he was a good fit for your wide receiver room?
I'll be honest, I was struggling a little bit with the pick. I kind of wanted to go running back. Decided on going with Johnston, and he's a hidden talent. 6'4", 201, 91 acceleration, 90 agility, 91 speed, 89 change of direction. So he's a physical freak.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on the pick. The Falcons offense gets a little bit better today. We'll see how you do the rest of the draft, brother. Appreciate it. Cole, we still got some there's a linebacker coming off the board. Siaka Ika just came off the board, defensive tackle out of Baylor for the Vikings. We still got some defensive backs on the board. Joey Porter's still out there. I'm kind of shocked by this.
Actually, I am as well.
Here's what I found.
Continue, please. Siri tried to interrupt us.
Okay. No, but yeah, Porter out of Penn State, he's actually, every single year he's played, he's gotten more snaps, more games, and he's been decent. I mean, his first year as redshirt, he only got 3 tackles, and almost every time he was targeted, he allowed a completion. Like, he allowed a perfect QB rating of like 156.3. So he was kind of written off in 2019, and then all of a sudden he took it up a notch. I mean, in 2020, played much more snaps, jumped from 3 tackles to 28, jumped from no deflections and picks to 2 deflections and 7 breakups. And then in 21, double that number again, went from 28 tackles to 56, got a pick, and then also a forced fumble and became a hard hitter. So we're talking about a guy who went from literally the weakest target and an easy guy to just, throw the ball towards to now a beast. So I'm really surprised Porter Jr. is still on the board.
It's the Dallas Cowboys.
Jared Verse just comes off the board for the Chiefs. Glad to see Banshee Man make the actual draft. He works a lot, so I'm actually really shocked to see him here and make that pick. That's fantastic. Hope Jared Verse is everything that he wanted. Cowboys. There's Joey Porter right there. Cole, bring it in, my man.
Good pick by Det Fan and the Cowboys. Honestly, like I said, Porter's a beast. He's only got improved by leaps and bounds. This is definitely a solid pick. I think he's going to be a star for sure. He should be.
No pun intended as he goes to the Cowboys there. Ravens now on the clock. Win. Where do you think Air Jordan goes with this pick?
Well,
did he tag Lamar?
Wide receivers? No, he did keep Lamar. He's got Lamar under wing, so he's definitely not looking quarterback here. Maybe you see him go. Maybe Bijan Robinson goes here. Maybe pair him up with Dobbins, J.K. Dobbins, and Gus Edwards, and make a freak threesome of a backfield with Lamar Jackson as well being the fourth head. I mean, that would be a ridiculous run game right there.
They do run that crazy pistol formation.
Defense.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're fine. But realistically, you could also go. There's still some good defensive linemen on the board at this stage. You've got some outside linebackers that could potentially go. I'm not sure what his linebacker situation is right now, but the Ravens always make a snack up on defense traditionally. He might also go with a tight end. There's still some really good tight ends on the board. I don't think we've seen a tight end actually come off the board to my knowledge or recollection. So maybe he goes tight end to pair up with Mark Andrews and give him some weapons there for Lamar. I mean, there's lots of good players that he could take here. It's just a matter of his decision as far as how he wants to go about doing it. But he's only got 20 seconds left, so he better.
Yeah, 15 as the clock ticks down on. Oh, there it is. Nolan Smith went defense. Did not see that coming.
But takes the best linebacker, takes the best left outside linebacker on the board, one of the top outside linebackers in this draft. Nolan Smith can do a little bit of everything. He's not Will Anderson, but he's definitely good. And there goes Brian Branch. I'll let
Brian Branch. Hit it. Cold.
Shocking that it took this long, but yes, Brian Branch, that's my guy I told you guys about earlier. He's a beast. He's a physical specimen. I'm honestly shocked it took this long. Is he the first safety off the board?
Yes, he is the first safety. This safety class is pretty weak as far. He is the definite standout. Everybody else is predicted to go second, third, maybe first or second round, but he's the highest safety in this class. Not a very strong safety class. I think you'll see that next year. Should we pick up another draft class? I think you'll see that next year as we do that as well.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I would like to have. Let me see if I can get. So Cly picked a hell of a fast linebacker. Want to see if we can get him in here and talk Trenton, Trenton real quick, and then Seahawks are on the clock. We'll get Hawk in here as well. I'm sure everybody would love to hear his voice paired with that infectious personality he brings to this league. He went Noah Sewell. Let's see here.
I believe that's the top middle linebacker on the board, or was anyway.
Yes, I did see that as well. Come in, my friend. Okay, Cly is in the building. Cly, talk to us about your latest addition at linebacker, please.
Hey, what's going on, gentlemen? I hope you can hear me well. Yep. He had too many A's. Mm-hmm. And so, unfortunately, I think this is the case for a lot of people. My scouting was all focused on quarterback. So if there's a quarterback in this class, I knew everything about him. But for everyone else, I was relying on just physicals and letter grades. So I kind of just prioritized anyone that had A's. And I think he was one of the few that had three, at least exposed for me, 3 A's. And his combine scores were all solid, top 5. So I figured he was going to be fast, but 94 speed is... that's a head scratcher.
That's Isaiah Simmons, but faster. That's crazy, man. Congratulations on your pick. All right, we have Blackhawk in the building. Let's talk all things Sewell, my friend. Blackhawk, are you with us?
He's here. I think he's having issues with his mic, though.
Yeah, I'm seeing that as well. Let's see.
On the clock now, the Buffalo.
Oh, the Eagles just took Bijan Robinson. All right. Oh, there he is. Hey, what's going on, Hawk? Talk to us about Sewell.
And Sewell is as a top player on the board at a position of need. So at 26 in the first round, you got to love it when a guy like that falls into your lap. Pair him with the other guy we got there at middle linebacker. And our defense is looking really strong. You know, getting back to the days of the Seattle Super Bowl run teams that got there with their defense and their running game. Looking forward to this season, see what we can do with this lineup we got.
Congratulations on replacing Bobby Wagner. I hope it works out for you. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Chesky, talk to us about Bijan Robinson, who is a hidden dev. Looks like a stud.
Yeah, I really didn't expect him to fall this far, and I'm very happy to get him. I think he fits well with the air raid system that we're going to run. He had A for catching, short and medium route running was an A or a B, and he ran a 4.37 at his pro day, so I just couldn't pass him up.
All right, well, we appreciate the insight, my friend. We'll let you go. First tight end comes off the board, Michael Mayer, tight end to Broncos. That is an interesting pick for them. I don't think they have – they shipped Fant off to Seattle, right? So this replaces him. Win, what can you tell us about him?
Michael Mayer is kind of a do-it-all tight end out of Notre Dame. Had decent speed coming out of the combine. Just a guy that kind of gives him an extra tight end weapon alongside Albert O. I'm not going to try and pronounce his last name. And gives Russell Wilson potentially an extra little security blanket there over the middle. A guy who's a decent run blocker, not great, but obviously most tight ends coming out of college aren't great run blockers. They're not asked to do that as much as they used to be. But a guy that can get the job done in that aspect, but definitely a guy who can provide you some playmaking capabilities in the short to intermediate part of the field. Not a field stretcher, but definitely a guy that can give you that 10 to 15, maybe even 20-yard receiving capability. And again, just another weapon for Russell Wilson moving forward, and they're just adding to that offense there in the CPU Bronco Dome.
Yeah, I forgot to play Bijan Robinson's highlights, so I'm going to put those up there for a minute. Luke Musgrave, back-to-back tight ends gone. Amazing Forever comes in and swoops up a tight end. He let Evan Ingram go in the offseason, and now he replaces him with Luke Musgraves. What can you tell us about him, Win?
Another guy that has a little bit more speed, not quite the speed of an Evan Ingram, but I think that's a little bit of addition by subtraction for the Jaguars. I think Evan Ingram was a solid talent, but for the money they were paying him, it was overpaid. So you dump that contract, you get a tight end on a good tight end with some speed and some ability, similar to Evan Ingram in Luke Musgrave. Still needs a couple of years of work. He's still a little raw around the edges. Again, not a solid run blocker. But a guy that can help you out and give Trevor Lawrence another weapon in that passing game. And there's Drew Sanders coming off the board out of Arkansas. The Commanders basically kind of start to help out that outside linebacker, that defense. They skipped on Will Anderson in favor of Will Levis, so here they pick up defense in the form of Drew Sanders in a pick they picked up from the Texans whenever the Texans got Montez.
It's the Miami Dolphins.
Antonio Johnson. You know anything about him, Cold?
Yeah, there he goes. I was actually wondering when he was going to get picked. Johnson isn't too bad. I actually like him. He's 6'3", 195 pounds, and he's probably the hardest hitter out of the safeties. Or the secondary that I've mentioned. 2021, 58 tackles, 1 pick. 2022, 55 tackles. He even got a sack. He hunts the ball down extremely well. So, yeah, this is a great pick. Surprised it went this long. But, yeah, solid pickup by the Bucs.
Emperor, can you hear me? I didn't even get to see the Titans pick. I'm not even sure who you grabbed, man. Come in here and talk to us for a minute. If you can unmute your mic and talk to us, we'd love to hear from you as the Dolphins are on the clock now.
The Panthers are...
They'll take Jahmyr Gibbs, a halfback out of Alabama. Shocker there. Ross taking an Alabama boy. Must be exciting for him, but the rest of us probably yawn a bit, as he wasn't expected to come off until the second or third round, I thought. Could be wrong, though.
Well, it's no secret that Ross loves his Bama boys, and with this being a draft class that has real life Bama boys, and there goes the Panthers quarterback. I like this pick in round 2. Hendon Hooker. I know it says Hooker.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be Hooker, but they couldn't spell Hooker because of the naming setup. So it's Hooker, but yeah, that's a good pickup. That's a project.
Wait a minute.
Definitely.
Oh, because it's a custom. I was like, well, they have Malik Hooker. They have.
Because you can't do it with an EA created. Yeah, yep. EA. We could sit here and make a whole podcast about EA, but anyway, Hendon Hooker is a solid quarterback. He's in that second tier of quarterbacks after the Levis, the Stroud, and the Bryce Young. He's not on that level, to be absolutely honest and fair. He still has a good arm, not elite NFL level. I think he'll need to work on that. He can't make every throw, but he can make most throws. And with the weapons he'll have in Carolina and the running game he has in Carolina, and Ruffles giving him some leadership and guidance, I think that's a really good match. Ruffles with a project, but not a bad project in Hendon Hooker.
Cold. Cam Smith just came off the board and went to the Detroit Lions. He was the third best cornerback, in my opinion, on the board behind Ringo and Porter. What can you tell us about Cam Smith?
I actually like Cam Smith a lot. He's 6 foot, 188 pounds, out of South Carolina. He's actually pretty damn good. I mean, his first year, he only played 8 games. They only let him, but he hit 12 tackles and got 2 picks. And then in 21, he only went up to 10 games, but it jumped up to 35 tackles and 3 picks. So in a short amount of span, he's improved by leaps and bounds. Cam Smith is a solid pickup. I think he's going to be a beast at cornerback. It's a great pick. Lions are, like Wynn said, they've won this draft by a long shot.
Chili Key.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
The Lions need help at corner. That's one area they struggle in. After Akuta, they don't have much. To get somebody like that is just the rich are getting richer as far as this draft goes.
Exactly.
Mozzie Smith, defensive tackle out of Michigan. Michigan, big team, upset loss to TCU, right? In the championship or the semifinals, I should say, Final Four, if you will.
Correct.
Big dude out of Michigan there going, and
okay,
all right.
Didn't see that coming off the board that early. Tanner McKee out of Stanford. That is a guy that was projected to be 3rd, 4th round pick, maybe even day 3 if I remember. But he goes here in the 2nd round. Apparently the Rams scouted him out and liked what they saw, but they also could have had the same problem of we need a quarterback. We finally have a pick in the first 2 rounds for the first time in like a decade. Let's use it on a guy that we feel like could be the future of the franchise. And to be fair, I mean, maybe McKee is that guy. I don't see him as that guy.
I haven't been. I'll be honest. I haven't been this shocked since Baker Mayfield was taken 1st overall by the Browns a few years back. That is nuts. All right, and with that, boys, we'll be right back. I am on the clock. I'll see you in a minute.
Okay. As the Seahawks and Blackhawk take Osiris Torrance out of Florida, that is basically the top guard.
Exactly.
On the board.
And he goes to the Seahawks. The offensive line so bad. I scouted him even though I have no picks coming up soon. But this is a great pick by Seattle, a division rival of mine. Sad to see him go to the NFC West, but I mean, this is he's a solid pickup. Torrance was definitely, I think you're right, the number 1 guard in this draft class.
Yeah, he was definitely one of the top guards, especially the right guard spot. He goes to a team in Seattle and Blackhawk that loves to run the ball. And if I'd have kept my pick in round 2, this guy would have not been on the board for the Cardinals. Andre Carter is a monster. He is a freak athlete. He's 6'7", 260 pounds, and the guy runs a 4.5 40. He is fast for his size. He can get after the passer. He can play coverage. He can do whatever you need. And then right afterwards is B.J. Ojulari, right outside linebacker at LSU. So the linebackers that are athletic and talented are starting to come off the board.
Dude, you said he's 6'7", 220, and he ran that fast? That's
Steelers on the clock.
Wow, he's a monster. We're gonna hopefully the Army lets him out of his contract so he can actually play professional football. But we're going to take a prayer on him and put him in. He fits our scheme. He is going to be added to a deep linebacker room, so we're excited to have him. Couldn't be more happy with the pick, even though it's normal dev. But whatever.
Well, normal dev or not, I mean, that guy's got talent all over the place, and he can fit in any scheme. He can put his hand down in a 4-3 setup. He can keep standing up in a 3-4. You can play a hybrid style and let him put his hand in the dirt on some packages. I mean, that guy is just a freak athlete, and he can make plays, and that you find a way to put him on the field.
Yep, 3-4 for us, so he will be standing up, and we'll probably move one of those other scrubs inside. Felix, yes. Kansas State, right in.
Uzoma.
There we go. There it is. I knew someone had my back. That was beautiful pronunciation. He's all, your favorites, right? Saints take him, and good for them.
Potential replacement for Cam Jordan, maybe a guy who needs some work in the pass rush side. More of a run stuffing type of player there in Uzoma, but he goes to a Saints defense that's very veteran heavy, so he can definitely learn from some guys there like Cam Jordan. They lost guys like David Onyemata and Shy Tuttle in the offseason, but I'm sure the Saints CPU team picked up some guys to replace them. That's a solid pickup for a team that needs a whole lot of pieces to get younger. As Emmanuel Forbes from Mississippi State comes off the board at the cornerback spot there for Chill and the Steelers.
Tuco, do you got any scouting on him?
Personally, I do not.
Out of Mississippi State, but he is definitely solid. I'm looking at him. He actually had a top 10 in the 40 in the scouting. So yeah, this is actually a pretty quick young guy.
Beautiful, beautiful. I am looking into his stuff right now, seeing he had 46 total tackles, 6 interceptions at Mississippi State. That's quite the number. He had 3 touchdowns to go with it. So 3 pick sixes, 6 interceptions, and 46 tackles. Pretty good for a corner. Pretty good for a corner.
Yeah, that's solid.
You like to have a playmaker on the defense at that secondary spot, and that's a guy that's essentially aggressive potentially to a fault. So you want to be careful about that, but you don't mind a cornerback that tries to make a play and tries to make something happen for your defense.
Rusta Busta on the clock now with just under about 40 seconds to go now. I think I'm going to call it here. I think he's going to improve the defense this time around, but he could go offense again. But I don't know very many slots that he needs more help on the offensive side of the ball. Joe Burrow's got pretty much all that he needs. They could go tight end, I guess, but I think all the good tight ends are. Well, no, is Georgia's tight end still out there?
I believe so. But,
there he is. There he is. I called it. Oh man, yeah, Rusta taking Darnell Washington. A lot of people believe he's one of the best tight ends in the country. Rashi Rice comes right off the board right there, wide receiver out of Southern Methodist as well. But let's see. Let me see if I can get Rusta back in here to talk about his newest addition there in the offense.
The Las Vegas Raiders now on the clock.
As another Alabama boy comes off the board.
Yep.
Henry 2020. We need Ross in here to tell us about his Alabama guys.
Yeah. I thought he was going to come in after his picks and stuff.
He's tied up, I think. I don't think he can.
Oh yeah. I think he did say. Oh, I don't know what he's done, but I could have sworn he said he's working, but it doesn't matter. All right. I asked Russell to come back. He's not listening to me or is too busy celebrating his awesome offense now. But Lamigra, our old man, is on the board here. Raiders, minute 20 to go. What do you think the Raiders are doing here, Win?
I think the Raiders are going to go, well, I guess I don't have to think. They went right tackle. They go offensive line to protect Derek Carr. So they go Carter Warren, who was the best tackle on the board at this point out of the University of Pittsburgh. A guy who is a solid pass blocker, not that great in the run game, so Josh Jacobs may have a little bit of trouble running against the right side, but a guy who could be a solid growth guy moving forward for the Raiders as they try and kind of get that offense on track. They have great weapons. They have obviously Devontae Adams. They have Darren Waller. They have Josh Jacobs. They have Derek Carr. They have all the weapons they need. Getting some O line to either keep Carr upright or get Josh Jacobs some open holes is always warranted and always welcome. So that's a good pick. Not a sexy pick, never is, but that's a good pick for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Well, we do have Rusta back in the booth with us. Rusta, talk about your newest tight end.
Yeah, I'm excited about him. He's a behemoth of a man. He's a bus. If he's not the quickest out of the block, right? But if he catches the ball and gets an open field, he's going to be tough to bring down. So him paired with Evan Ingram, I'm not worried about his wheels since Ingram's got that, right? So I got an option for slow and steady and kind of a quick burst to tight end. So I'm excited about it. I don't even know his measurement. He's like 6'7". What is 6'7", 2?
Pretty big.
Like that.
Yeah. You're not wrong. Pretty big. So, well, wish you the best of luck and to your Bengals in the AFC there. And I'll be rooting for you. You're a close friend of mine, so I'll be rooting for you in that division, brother.
It's the Seahawks on the clock.
John Michael Schmidt's coming off top center on the board. Not a very deep center draft this go around win, as we have Hawk back on the clock here for the Seahawks.
Yeah, this class, the offensive line as a whole is not a deep group, so it kind of surprises me that not more teams have jumped on those top tier talents quickly. As Hawk gets more depth on that D line, going with Deron Payne and Javon Dexter, defensive tackle out of Florida. A guy that has some ability and can easily pair up with Deron Payne. Deron Payne can eat up some blockers, and Dexter has some ability in one-on-one scenarios to get some pass rush there from the interior. I'm not sure what kind of defense that Hawk is running, but this is just somebody looks like a Hawk type of draft because he's typically a trench type of guy, and he's building in those trenches. As the Falcons go cornerback with Clark Phillips III out of Utah.
Yeah, Falcons definitely need some help there. Cole, do you know anything about him?
Now, it's the Tennessee Titans.
Taking it, that's a no, but that's okay.
That's okay. We got Hawk back in the booth. Talk to us about your latest defensive tackle, brother. We'll give him a minute to slide his old thumb down to that unmute button.
I'm unmuted now.
There he is. All right, buddy. Talk to us about your latest defensive tackle edition, and then Stud. Hold on, we'll get to you in a minute.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what. How Gervon Dexter was still on the board there in the second round, this far down, I have no idea. We're already excited with the Deron Payne signing in free agency. But man, he'll be a great person to bring Dexter along. They're very similar in the way they play. They both got great motors getting up the field. Those rare defensive tackles that can get into the backfield and put pressure on the quarterback. It's amazing to have one of those on your team, and now to have two, and he can learn under Payne as well. And I tell you what, it's going to be hard for anybody to run or get time in the pocket with this defense we're putting together now.
Challenge accepted. Appreciate you, brother. Stud. Unmute that mic and talk to us about your latest pick, brother.
I'm a little upset that Hawk took my guy. Right before me, but we ended up going with Phillips at cornerback, and he's got 95 acceleration, 92 speed, so he's a burner, probably going to be our nickel guy.
All right, Zay Flowers coming off the board there. Appreciate you, Stud. Thank you for that enlightenment, and best of luck with your new corner. All right.
Zay Flowers comes off the board to Cly here, wide receiver out of Boston College. As the rich just keep getting richer, the Giants and Cly just get stockpiling that talent that they'll put to good use. Oh boy, DeMarvion Overshown, outside linebacker out of Texas, comes off the board to chill Texas. A solid pickup. The there's still a lot of good talent left on this board for it being the second round. I'm kind of pleasantly surprised that it's that good at this stage of the game here.
Ross cracking me up in the chat. He's talking about Stud. Stud has that slow Southern Georgian drawl that we all know and love.
I mean, he sounds like a Falcons fan.
Yeah.
I'll just put it that way. Saints fan. He sounds like a Falcons fan. I love you, Stud. You sound like a Falcons fan.
Oh, man. Jalen Duncan comes off the board for Banshee Man, left tackle out of Maryland. Not a bad pickup there. Hopefully he can get some playing time or really develop there behind their already stellar offensive line.
Yeah, he's going to be plugged in behind Orlando Brown there, but that's a situation where if they don't want to pay Orlando Brown that big money, or if they want to kind of get out of that big money contract, that's something that they could easily move on from. Jalen Duncan, obviously not in the same class as Orlando Brown, but a guy that would be on a cheaper rookie deal. And whenever you have a guy like Pat Mahomes that you're paying $1 bajillion to, you want to make sure you save as much money as possible, but still getting value for your cash. And Duncan can definitely provide you that at the tackle spot. At the worst case scenario, he's a good swing tackle for a team that's really deep at that O-line position.
I just realized that we have not had a single 49ers pick. Is this because of the Trey Lance hangover? Cole, where are you at, and when do you pick next, my friend?
I don't even want to discuss that.
Round 5.
As a viewer, and I'm glad to be a part of it, and I hope you guys do great.
All right. Well,
but no, you're right.
49ers are a fan.
My next pick and my first pick is in the 5th round. So, fantastic draft.
Ruff, I'm glad we could employ you. I did not know that, but I'm glad that I chose you to be with me on this journey tonight. We look
all the time.
Yeah. We look forward to that 5th round pick, my friend. Chicago on the board here, or on the clock, I should say. Andrew Voorhees, left guard out of USC, going to the Dallas Cowboys. So they're trying to get back to greatness. Win on a lot of big holes there left by all those great offensive linemen when Zeke first came in the league. You're talking about Travis and they still got a few of them, right? But they're older now. That's correct.
They only have one guy left from that vaunted offensive line that basically earned Ezekiel Elliott his contract. I believe Frederick's gone. He retired.
Yeah,
I think Zach Martin's the only guy they still have left. I think Zach Martin's the only guy they have left. They have Tyron Smith as well, but he's very injury prone. So definitely you need to rebuild that interior offensive line, especially when you're running Troy Pollard, because they did cut Ezekiel Elliott in the offseason. So they're going with Troy Pollard moving forward. Ezekiel Elliott actually signed with the enemy, the Commanders, this offseason. So that'll be interesting to watch twice a year, watch Ezekiel Elliott go against his former team in a Commanders jersey.
Sure did. I almost took a stab at Zeke, but first of all, I hate him as a person. I'll be honest. I think he's living here in Dallas and watching how he acts. He's a giant POS. So not really what we want for Cardinal material. Looked at Kareem Hunt as well. Decided that he too is also a giant POS. So we're gonna go with old Connor and keep it rolling there. Eli Ricks, another cornerback out of Alabama. Coming off the board. Well, never mind. Ross picked him. So,
yeah. I don't know why you got excited and then you realized.
Yeah, my voice just flatlined because I seen that Dolphins logo in the background. I was like, okay, let's move on here. You're on the clock. Where are you going here? Give it to us live.
I am basically going BPA at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the board right now, and I see a couple of talents that I think I might go ahead and reach out on. One guy I have 80% scouted and actually have a favorite tag on him. I think I'm going to go with edge rusher. I'm going to go with a guy by the name of Derek Hall. He is normal development, which is not a huge problem in round 2 this late. 6'3", 251 pounds out of Auburn, 80 acceleration, 72 agility. 81 speed, 85 strength, so he's really strong for his size ratio. And a guy that basically I'm hoping can come in and maybe not compete day one for a job, but essentially on this Texans team, if I draft you, you're going to be competing for a starting job somewhere. I'm looking for competition, and this guy gives me the capability to get some competition, can play stand-up linebacker if I need him to, but he's set as a right end, but he's a guy that I can easily put. I plan on running a hybrid defense this offseason or this season, so I plan on doing some 3-4-4-3 fronts. So a guy that can play stand-up if I need him to, but put his hand in the dirt if I need him to as well. So not a stellar pick, but a guy that can definitely get some stuff done. Had a round 1 to 2 grade on him. So not necessarily a bust per se, just a guy that will definitely compete in Houston more than anywhere else in the league. We give him an opportunity to play.
I am not sure if you're watching the chat, if you're tuned into it at all, but your good buddy Ross is saying some not rather nice things. He's also telling you to shut your pie hole. Eagles on the clock. Chesky, aka Toxic Pickle, headed for the stage here to make his latest pick. He's got a little bit under 30 seconds to go. He's hit on 2 picks. DeJuan Jones, maybe right tackle out of Ohio State. You know, they play big boy football in the Big Ten, and actually Chesky lives, breathes, loves the Packers, also loves Wisconsin football, so he's very familiar with the Big Ten and how they go. So this doesn't shock me at all that he pulls a Big Ten lineman out of the second round here.
With the next selection,
no, definitely doesn't. The TP Buffalo Bills take Dalton Kincaid out of Utah, tight end, and Ruffles is at pick 29 of round 2. This draft is actually moving a lot faster than I anticipated. I am bouncing back and forth, and if I'm looking, those of you that are tuned in, if I'm in the member section, I see a red dot by your name, I am skipping you. So basically, if you see picks kind of start to come in a little faster, that's because I'm skipping them because they are officially a red dot in my members board. I go check whenever the pick comes up. If I see a red dot, then I immediately skip you because you're not here and I don't want to waste time. I don't want to waste clock. So
Eagles with another great pick, hidden dev there on DeJuan Jones. I'm asking Chesky to come back in here. Chesky, talk to us, man. You just hit on another draft pick, dude. How do you do this? How do you do it?
I don't know, man. This one was pretty lucky, I would say. I just went best player available, and like you guys said earlier, my O-line is starting to age. But now I have 2 tackles that are both 6'8", 360 pounds.
All right. Well, we appreciate you, man. Thanks for dropping in for the 3rd time. I hope you stub your toe or do horrible in the last part of this draft. Zach Harrison, left end out of Ohio State, just taken for Ruffles. Let's see. Oh, Andrew Voorhees for the Cowboys. Hey, that's a hidden dev for them as well. So
good.
Yep, good for him. Fantastic. And so Zach Harrison, left end out of Ohio State, quick off the line. Got to see him in the when they lost, and he was fantastic for them in that game, but just couldn't do enough to stop that TCU offense. What do you know about him?
He's going to be a solid player. I feel like overall he's a guy that he definitely provides some depth to that team as far as blocking capabilities go. But at this stage now, we're getting to the point now as we move into the late end of round 2, going into round 3, where the players are going to start to become harder and harder to put pen to paper to. That's kind of getting, oh, look, another Alabama player comes off the board, Jordan Battle. But at least it's not the Dolphins.
Yeah, it's true. Kobe trying to piss off Ross here, taking his boys away. Zach Harrison had 3.5 sacks this year for Ohio State. But what's interesting is they backed him into coverage. He had 4 maybe he's just batting balls down at the line, but he had 4 pass deflections, 1 pick, and 3 forced fumbles. So not a bad turnout, in a crowded team of talent there. So.
No, especially when you get that kind of value in round 2, you get that kind of playmaking ability in round 2 for a Panthers team that needs playmakers all over the place, especially on defense. I mean, that's a dub, and you can't go wrong with taking some players out of premier programs like Ohio State, like Alabama, like Georgia. Those schools are good for a reason. They churn out NFL quality talent. And, you're seeing it in this draft as we go along. I mean, we've had at least 3 Alabama players get picked because that's how many Ross has taken. But we've also seen some players from Alabama go to other places. I want to say there's been at least a half dozen, if
Well,
not
don't forget
more.
about the Terminator. Terminator went pretty early. Will
Yeah,
Anderson.
he went. Yeah.
And a 10 sack guy. Let's talk battle for a minute. Not really a ball hawk per se, but a heat-seeking missile. 71 tackles for him at Alabama this year. So good on the Jets for taking him. Blake Freeland, right tackle out of the Mormon State, BYU. So they're going to try and bolster their line around the massage aficionado. Watson and kind of maybe bolster that line. Maybe not now, but a couple years from now, as Blake Freeland comes off the board there.
Yeah, the offensive line class as a whole is really getting to the point where it's very thin. So if you did not grab your offensive lineman of choice by this point of the draft, you're going to be grabbing at scraps at this point. The offensive line class as a whole was not very deep. It was pretty top heavy as well. You might find a diamond in the rough further down in the draft, but I doubt it very seriously. There was only 20 guards available in this draft. There was like 17 or 18 centers, and I believe about 30 tackles between left and right. So there's not a lot of offensive line help to be found in this draft. I think most of the good ones have already been fished out. But that's not to say there might not be one or two still sneaking around the week back there.
Pick. The Miami
Dolphins are on the clock. Let's see what we got here. Let's take a look at who's available. It's going to be this guy, Emil Ikior Jr. I would be shocked if it wasn't.
Okay, let's see if your prediction is true. As the previous pick is Adetomwa Adebawore out of Northwestern. I will give credit to the person that created this draft class. They did the names for the most part with some justice. A guy out of Northwestern known as a scrappy school in the Big Ten. So a guy is definitely used to playing some run defense. Guy is not really an elite level pass rusher per se, can do it in spurts, but a guy that's mainly going to be one of those plug and play, work hard type of guys, which is kind of good for our Bucs defense, that our Bucs team in general, that's really long in the tooth, trying to get younger at everywhere on the board there. Picking up a guy like that's good. And look at that you called it.
Roll Tide, boys. Roll Tide. God, stop it, Ross. Nobody cares. Okay.
The Jacksonville
Brandon Joseph. Wow.
Free safety out of Notre Dame.
Yeah. Pretty good. They had. Notre Dame kind of breeds safeties, so I expect big things from Brandon Joseph. They got Duggar there in New England, and McCourty's on his way out, so that's a Jason McCourty replacement right there.
Yep, definitely. As that Patriots defense kind of retools and gets younger, as we kind of getting to the end of the Belichick era as far as defense, because we kind of got to turn it around and get them younger. J.L. Skinner out of Boise State? Okay.
Not bad. Definitely a depth player there for sure for the Jags. But BPA probably for them for sure.
Oh, yeah. We're getting to the point now where I feel like unless you just had a guy that you absolutely fell in love with through Combine or through Pro Days, at this point you're probably looking at BPA. And at this point in the draft, you're looking for guys that can either contribute on special teams or that can maybe sneak in and be a third or fourth guy, like the wide receiver room, in the cornerback room, secondary side, maybe even linebacker side, depending on what type of scheme you run. But you're just looking for guys that have something that you feel like you can build around. Rounds 3, 4, and 5 are notorious for that kind of stuff. Cody Mauck out of North Dakota State, a small school tackle, one of the few remaining bright spots at the offensive line setup. Cody Mauck. Cody Mauck's a really good pass protector for where he comes from. Now, he didn't face top-tier competition, but he has been in many championship game and playoff game scenarios there at North Dakota State. So he's definitely used to winning and being part of a winning pedigree. And that offensive line is just getting kind of bolstered as we move forward. And man, the offensive line's flying off the board. Steve Villa, left guard out of TCU, goes to the Rams as they try and protect their new quarterback. They have Matthew Stafford still, I do believe.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to rush McKee in right away. You know what I mean?
No, I don't think so. So Villa's a nice pick. The Colts CPU takes Devin Witherspoon, cornerback out of Illinois, to kind of help with that secondary there in Indianapolis. And now it's Juke's turn to pick a player.
I'm just going to leave you guys all up on here this time. It's third round. I'm not really too worried about it. Let's see what we got going on.
As I see some critiques from the chat from Roll Tide. So Ross, I love you, but yeah, sometimes you're a bit much. Just say, take somebody from Auburn, and I'll respect you.
We're gonna take KJ Henry out of Clemson. He's a hidden dev. Let's go! Wow,
that's a good pick. He was one of those deep defensive linemen that I wasn't sure if he was hidden dev or not, but looking at his attributes and stuff, he looked like a guy that kind of middle of the road pass rusher style. So he didn't really stand out in that regard. I guess he was behind some guys at Clemson. Zach Evans comes off the board, halfback out of Ole Miss. Starting to see a few halfbacks come off the board. That is still a place where you can definitely get some value. Is at halfback. There's definitely a lot of good running backs still left on the board. Jacqueline Roy, defensive tackle at LSU. Another spot that's going to see some depth or see some talent there is defensive tackle. So you've got some definite solid players at some trench spots, which normally nobody picks. So there's definitely still some good players to be had in those areas.
Let's check in on Too Cold, see how he's doing, man. Are you still hanging in there, buddy?
Yes, sir. I'm still here.
All right, awesome. Just want to make sure you're doing all right, man. It's been a long draft so far, but we're still excited to have you. Keep that chin up.
I will. I wish I had a pick. But,
yeah, I'm picking another round. We just got one more round to go, buddy, and then you'll be in with us. Be with all the cool kids.
Yeah.
All right. See you in a minute. Bengals back on the clock now. Jack Campbell, middle linebacker out of Iowa, going to the Bears. Short drive there for the scouting for the Bears to go see Iowa games, and they also come to Northwestern pretty regularly too. So probably some really close scouting there. And Bengals, I am really shocked. They've finally run out of offensive slots to fill.
Los Angeles Chargers.
Oh my God! Somebody call the presses. The Dolphins have taken a player not from Alabama. They take one of the better cornerbacks left on the board, though, in DJ Turner out of Michigan. So Ross proves that he actually looks for talent, too.
Does Ross even know where Michigan is?
He's familiar with it because they played Alabama. So he kind of has a general idea.
He saw him in one game and was like, yeah, that's it. That's the one.
That guy's pretty fast. He should have played for Alabama. I'm going to draft him.
Wow, he's 96 feet and hidden. I'm going to shut up now.
Yeah, I knew he was pretty fast. He had like a 4. I think he had a 4.34 or 4.2. Oh, not 4.24. 4.34 or 4.32 40 for the combine. So I knew he was a burner. So that's a really good pickup for Ross, who traded Byron Jones, who's moved on from some secondary guys. So he gets some young, fast talent to come back in. That's not from Alabama. So proves that he's got some growth and some in his personality. That's good to see.
I'm gonna pick my chin up off the floor. Colby Wooden out of Auburn. Speaking of Auburn, left end.
Yep.
Not a bad pick there for the Raiders. Get some depth in this fourth round.
Yep, getting some players that can definitely help on the defensive line. They're depth pieces behind your Chandler Jones and your Max Crosby's of the world, but you do need guys to give those a spell. Blake Corum, there's a talented halfback out of Michigan coming out for the Jaguars. A guy who looks like he's going to be a really good receiving style back for the Jaguars. Could potentially be a Travis Etienne replacement. know if that would be the case. That he wouldn't want to replace Etienne.
So,
but I
I'm
mean,
calling for them to replace Etienne already.
No, I wouldn't. But I mean, the skill set is the same between Corum and Etienne. And they're stud picking up probably the best center left on the board in Jarrett Patterson, center out of Notre Dame. That pretty much probably wipes our centers just about clean, short of taking some project players in rounds 5, 6, and 7. Meek Boy on the clock, and I hope, as a former rival of his, and when I've had Detroit in the now forgotten franchise, I hope he messes up.
It's the Tennessee Titans.
I'm dead.
Ooh.
Hey, I'm going to issue a challenge to anybody in the late rounds. If you take Spencer Rattler, I will not let you hear the end of it. That dude is the biggest D-bag in the world.
Okay.
So
Ross is going to take him with his next pick.
Well, it wouldn't shock me at all.
Well, I mean, Ross enjoys to a certain extent trolling everybody. So I think he would do something like that just out of spite. Either that, or maybe the Jags. Maybe Amazing does it.
Stud, I see you're in the in the chat. You just got a hidden dev center. Hey, Max Dugan. Stud, come in and talk to us, and then I want to hear from Titans on the quarterback they just took.
Yeah, Falcons, we took a flyer on a center we had 100% scouted, so he's second, third round talent, so happy he's in there too.
Oh, another Alabama player comes off the board. Emperor, are you with us, man? Can you hear us? You didn't come in earlier on your first round pick, but I want to see what you think about Max Dugan. Nope.
Maybe not.
Malachi Moore.
Next pick,
If he wants to hop in here, he can. He can just hop in and interrupt us. No big deal.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so.
Absolutely.
Oh, Akane? Is that how we... Devin Akane? Let's see what Mr. Akane...
We'll go with that. That sounds good.
Yeah, I like it. I'm no college professor like some of us here, but I am... I like to...
That doesn't imply intelligence.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. That's true. Yeah. Okay, so Texas A&M. Let's take a look at some stats here. So 1,100 yards for him, and he had 8 touchdowns on the ground. So not bad. Not bad. If they can get him moving, then it'll probably be a pretty good pick.
Yeah, I mean, and then we have the Cowboys, another offensive line pick. That's not bad, especially when you take the University of Georgia. Cedric Van Pran, guy that can sit behind some guys year one, maybe challenge for a starting job, but a guy that definitely adds to that depth for the offensive line for the Cowboys. Again, I can't. There's not been a whole lot of picks other than maybe the Rams taking the Stanford quarterback in round 2.
Wow, the Cowboys
that might be the only
hitting. Van Pran's hidden.
Oh, wow.
Second hidden lineman in a row for the Cowboys. That's amazing. Congratulations.
Maybe I need to let other people draft for me. Maybe that's the pick.
Yeah. Det fan, man. Congratulations, man. That's awesome. Super proud.
Yeah,
we're super happy for you.
Yeah. I'm not super happy for you, but I'm super happy for you, if that makes sense.
Hey, Seahawks, we got 2 Seahawks picks. I'd like to have Hawk unmute himself now so there's no delay, right? But I'd like to him come in and talk with us for a little bit and talk about his picks that he's going to make as he picks them. Anybody who wants to come in and talk now can. We're pretty much flying through these rounds now. The computer and anybody that's dropped out is getting skipped. So if you want to come in here and talk about your picks, that's fine. If not, we'll continue to roll through them and stumble through who we don't know any of these players.
I'm unmuted now, so.
There we go. There he is.
You know, I am an IT genius here, so I should be able to figure this out a little better.
And you are on the clock. Talk to us about where you're headed here, Hawk.
You know, at this point it's just depth. I've pretty much filled the positions of need that I want, and The other players that I was looking at, at center especially is a need, but there's not much left on the board there. So I do still need a backup running back. So I'm probably going to look at that here, looking at my board. Looking like might be Kenny McIntosh might be the pick here. Let me take a look again here and see what.
No pressure. Just about 45 seconds to go.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Plenty of time.
Ross just said you sound like a cop who would write your own mom or dad a ticket. That's hilarious. He probably would write his own dad a ticket for sure.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you. Yeah.
I'm gonna drive down to Alabama and give Ross a ticket. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna apply for the Alabama State Patrol just so I can give him some problems.
He'll probably ask you for an escort to the games.
Oh, there you go.
Man,
nice.
That guy looks straight out of Compton.
Speed, 91 acceleration, 89 change of direction. That'll be a good change of pace. Well, about the same pace as the guy I got now, whoever his name is.
Yeah.
Can't remember.
Walker.
Walker, yeah.
Kenneth Walker III.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, the guy that's got two other guys named Kenneth Walker born before him. So,
stick around for a minute. We got you again. Another two. You can mute your mic, but just come back to us when you make your next pick. And
will do, guys. Hey, you guys doing a great job with this. This is awesome. Having a lot of fun.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. Mr. McGrumpy Pants is in the booth. Let's talk for a minute. Let's talk Bears football for a minute. How's your draft going, brother?
I don't know. I'm at work.
Oh, well, we can't tell you either because we don't know. I don't remember that far back anyway. But I'm glad you are listening.
Yeah, I've been watching the stream, I got that fast cornerback out of Oregon, Gonzalez.
Oh yeah, that's right. Christian Gonzalez, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Congratulations.
Yeah, the Bears got so many holes, and I was gonna go with that fast linebacker, but when you got so many holes, you got to go with lead, and then you got the Lions with a 98 speed cornerback. And then, you got the Packers with that 95 speed wide receiver. So I got to do what I had to do. And, my secondary is so slow. So, hey, best player on the board. To me, I didn't get a defensive lineman. Didn't do well in the free agency. I wasn't going to spend a ton of money. I got so many holes. So hopefully, if EA don't mess up, I can get another offseason in or I can spend some money.
These guys are killing me in the chat. Sorry.
Yeah, they're giving you go smash. I'll take up for you though. So.
Yeah, no, but as far as my draft, my thinking was going in. I knew the top guys, and I did like Amazing did. I hadn't studied the draft this year. Normally I wait out the football season, so I've been on YouTube at work. The robots do all the work here at Nissan, so I've been studying that way. But like Cal said, that linebacker Tristan out of Clemson, I thought he had 93 speed, but 94, damn, that's fast.
Oh, but awesome.
You got to go with a cornerback. You cannot pass on a corner with that top end speed.
I agree. That's how I felt about Ringo. You know what I mean?
I think he had 8-man coverage. Then I figured I didn't do well in grabbing a defensive lineman in free agency. The only one I was going to spend big money on was the guy Payne, but I thought about it. I said, well, I had got from the last file, I got Quentin Williams from the Jets, and defensive linemen, they didn't really do well for me, so I passed on that. But I got some also rans. Then I got the guy out of USC. I think he had like 40 plus on the bench, and I think he ran like a 4.6 40.
Wow.
And he had like A or B finesse and power move, something like that.
Wow.
So we got a guy that can inside and out. And then I forgot what my last pick was. But whatever it was, I was happy about it. Last pick, I just set it up. Well, I knew who the D linemen were. I knew I was gonna get at 10. I was gonna get a certain guy, and I knew I had to get the defensive line was deep, so I knew. At pick 24, I was going to eventually get a defensive line. That's how I set my board up. And I forgot who was that other pick I had, but I'm happy with it, whatever it was. And hey, this is a damn good draft stuff. I hope I can say damn on the radio.
Sure, for sure, man. This is like Pat McAfee. You can say whatever you want to. We're not going to censor you. Anyway, brother, we appreciate you. We're going to get back over to Hawk now. Hawk, how was your last pick, dude?
How about 94 speed for a middle linebacker?
Oh my.
Who picked this draft class, man? Oh, that was Win. My bad.
I don't know. It was some idiot.
We got 93, 94. That's actually you can't switch. We got to look at the rules for this now, man, because you can't switch safety to a middle linebacker if he doesn't have over 90 speed. Win, you're gonna have to fix this now.
Nope, I disavow any knowledge of that. Sorry.
When all you have to go off of are combine and pro days, when your scouting is nothing more than quarterbacks at 100%, and a few other guys that are a little bit up there, but that's all I had to go by. That dude looked like a stud. He was a workout stud. We'll see what he actually turns out. He's normal dev though, so we'll see how he turns out. But if he's got any kind of pass coverage or anything like that, look out for him in the nickel package.
These guys are killing me in the chat. Well, congratulations on your linebacker. We appreciate you dropping in again. Feel free to drop in. Looks like Kendrick has forsaken his pick here.
The Houston Texans are now on the clock.
And it's back to Win.
Yeah,
is that Tom? Is that LaDainian's kid?
Sure, let's go with that.
Well, I mean, he went to TCU and he has a Tomlinson last name, so that's pretty. That'd be a coincidence, man.
Yeah, that would be. Let's see. You know what?
I'm all over it.
Let's go with this. I don't know. Oh, hey, I found a hidden dev guy. Woohoo! Finally. Bryce Young, and then this is the second one.
There you go.
So, yeah, left tackle Nick Brocker out of Ole Miss.
It is not LT.
6'5".
It is not LT's kid.
Okay.
Maybe illegitimate, but
yeah,
not actual.
But,
not according to Google.
But not really. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good pass blocker. Needs some work in the run game, but that's okay. He's going to be blocking the blind side for Bryce Young potentially. Does give me a question now about Laramie Tunsil. Do I resign him? That's going to be interesting. Got 83 speed and 80 acceleration. I mean, you're not going to look much as far as athletic offensive lineman standpoint. 83 strength is a little bit low, but I mean, I can live with it, especially with hidden depth. So I'll take that all day long. Fourth round hidden depth left tackle. Let's go.
Nice.
Hey, Diane Henley, middle linebacker. Washington State. This is the. I don't know how many draft shows you've ever done, Juke, but this is the doldrums time of the draft, where basically we're just looking at names and going, "Yep, that's a player. Yep, that's a player." Yep,
this is actually my first draft show. We used to do, and maybe this is something that we can kick around. We can get into blowout material if you want to, but when I ran my league, Sim Association, we actually lined up games that were going to be together or played around the same time, and we had the stars align, and we did a red zone channel, man, and it was awesome. It was super cool.
Yeah, you could do that with Twitch. Like with Twitch, you could do multi-Twitch, and if broadcasts are going on, as long as you know the names of the broadcasters, you can basically type multitwitch.tv/all your users, and essentially in each corner it'll be each one will have a broadcast going.
So I think you can do that on OBS too, and yeah, I'm looking at it right now here. It says multi-stream, which would be awesome because much like Scott Hansen does on Sundays, I can actually make the screens full screen with the scenes that we do. So how I'm doing this, how I switch back and forth between like highlights and whatnot, is through all my F keys. So I've created shortcuts, and I just quickly, or like I was telling you earlier on the phone, I can control them as well if I'm in the living room. So yeah, it's definitely something we should look into. Like I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, I mean it's you've definitely done some heavy lifting with the WFL season podcast you developed during that Christmas, during the free time you had whenever, I don't know, something else could have been going on but wasn't. I guess I guess maybe the crash of the franchise did some good to get some extra work in. Maybe, I mean, sure.
Yeah.
But
I
mean, it's definitely.
We're definitely going to
Go
evolve
ahead.
this whole thing. No, I was just going to say we're definitely going to evolve this whole thing, and you know, I feel the energy in the chat tonight. I hope this has rejuvenated everybody's excitement, and like that's really what I wanted to do. That's really why I said, hey, you know, I added everyone, and I said, hey, I'd love it if you guys stuck around, because this is. I was telling my wife this earlier. You know, this is I'm looking for a job right now, so this dispels my stress, right? And I have to pick right now, so I'll back.
Yeah, go make a pick. But to kind of piggyback, I know that there was a few people that when we made the decision to kind of skip from like I think we were in week 12 to the off season. There were a couple people that were disappointed because they wanted to keep playing, but I think the energy level for playing games was just really, really low. I think there was a lot of disappointed people in the franchise as far as, you know, losing all that information. I don't blame anybody for being pissed off about that. I'm pissed off about that. But I think getting us to an off season, and honestly, it's so depressing to say this. This is our first live draft because the first season draft we had in the old franchise setup in the old file, it had to be simulated because we were so afraid of the draft glitch. So this is actually our first actual live draft where we can actually pick players. So I mean, I think it helped everybody to kind of get an off season. Yeah, I know for some folks they had to kind of restart. I know the Falcons were disappointed. You know, Stud was disappointed because he had built something up, and I had picked him to be a kind of a guy that was going to be on the rise in that other franchise, and unfortunately, he got kind of the wind taken out of his sails due to EA. But you know, I think this whole season, getting us a free agency, getting kind of into the swing of an off season, and also some change of scenery helped. I think a few players as well. It's been really good to see the activity, especially. This is the kind of stuff I miss is doing these draft shows, these draft night things, because when you have the tournament like this, when you have the excitement like this, and even the banter from the peanut gallery that is Ross in the chat, it's really wonderful to see. So.
Oh yeah, for sure, and you know, I mean, I'm not saying the wind wasn't taken out of my sails as well. I had behind the Bengals, I had the second best built roster, so and then coming off of a Super Bowl loss as well, I felt like we could immediately turn around. Actually, I was planning on it being the last year for me to actually get back there, and you know, we were on a winning streak there, so you know, it's crazy how things turn out, but. It did give me a lot of time to think about, you know, this and what we could do here and kind of put it together and do testing. When I tell you I put a lot of work into this, like I have spent, you know, after the wife goes to bed, I'm out here tinkering around on my computer and trying different things, and you know, I fully believe in the WFL. I like everybody here, so, and I brought all my guys in, obviously. So, you know, this is a place that we'd like to call home for a long time. Marvin Mims finally comes off the board there. Bengals going with another wide receiver.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, if you guys don't mind if I jump in here, I've got some notes on Mims.
Sure, absolutely.
Go for it.
Yeah, Mims is on my board. He's not. I don't have him as my top wide receiver still on the board. Actually, I got 3 guys rated ahead of him, but. This is a very deep wide receiver draft. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got like 15 wide receivers on my board, and I've still got 6 left on there that haven't been drafted yet. 5 now that Mims was taken. So, but Mims was 3 or 4 on that list of who's still remaining, but a very, very deep wide receiver draft, and at least going by the stuff that we have available to us, I'd say there's still at least 2 wide receivers out there still that could make a squad and maybe even get some playing time. So
nice. Rusta, talk to us about him. I see you're in the chat, man.
Yeah, I mean, he was BPA, 94 acceleration, 95 speed, 90 agility. You know, he's just a little, you know, pocket rocket, if you will. So, you know, I mean, if he comes in and he's got, you know, A to C catching in traffic. His deep route is less than desirable, and also his release. So, we'll see how he works in training camp, and see if he makes the squad, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, brother. Stud, get back in here if you can hear me. Walk us through your picks.
I don't see him in the chat right now.
In the meantime, yeah, no, he's not. I don't think he's in here, but
If he's not in here, I can give you guys a little more information. The positions I still have of strength on the board would be cornerback. There's still some decent cornerbacks on the board. There's still some decent running backs to be had out there. Let's see, we've got some safeties. All the positions that are always deep in these Madden drafts. But I'd say there's probably still maybe even a few 70-plus overalls out there to be had. At least going blind with the information we have. So, and maybe even still a quarterback or two. You still got that challenge out there for Spencer Rattler. I've got him on my board. He's not my top quarterback remaining, but I do have him on my board. So.
Paul, did you have anything on that outside linebacker out of Iowa State, Will McDonald, the fourth?
What I can say about Will McDonald is that I do not. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I do have him on my board. When did you take him?
Last round. So
okay, yeah. I had him as my number 4 left outside linebacker.
Okay. Yeah, he looks solid from what was available to me, but that was a position of need, and he looked to be BPA, quite frankly, at that position at that time. So I was somewhat happy. He was tall, he has some weight to him, right? He's not slow. His awareness is good, so I thought it was a good pick in that position. But I was curious to see if you had anything deeper on it.
Stud, I'm going to interject here.
I had him listed as a mid-range outside linebacker, rush type, power rush. Good strength, good size, decent speed for that size, and like I said, he was at fourth left outside linebacker on my board, overall. So to get him in the third round isn't bad at all.
Stud, talk to me about the free safety that you just took and who you're talking and who you're picking now.
It looks like he's muted.
Yeah, he is muted. Stud, can you hear me?
The New York Giants on the clock.
He'll come on in a second.
Yeah, it's all right.
There he is.
So,
talk to us, buddy.
Yeah, so I don't know, just taking flyers on people right now. The free safety is a position of need for the Falcons right now. I pretty much need everything on defense, and my defensive line will keep going off the board before I get the pick.
Well, how are they? How is Garrett Williams? How is the free safety you took? They normal?
Measurables, they look good. I mean, speed-wise, 95 acceleration and 90-something speed on pretty much both cornerbacks I've taken so far. Free safety had 92 speed. So, I mean, the athletic part of them looks good, but who knows when you don't get to see overalls.
Yep. Looking forward to that all-important overall. Let's go. So while we're waiting on New York to pick here, and you guys can let me know who they select or if it's worth taking a look here, we can go take a look at the schedule for this year and see what we got on the docket. Well, that's week 12. Thank you for showing me that. We'll just go team by team here for a minute and pull up the regular season. I'm kicking off against Seahawks. Let's take a look. Chargers at Raiders. Chiefs versus Let's Ride.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm really worried for you in that game that you're kicking off the season with.
I'm not worried at all. That is a swift kick in the nuts. Rusto, we would have faced if I had still been the Colts. We were supposed to play the second to last week of the Forgotten Franchise. Commanders are at Rams. Giants are at, Cowboys are at Giants. Jets face Dolphins. 49ers at Eagles. Chesky versus Cold there. So that'll be a good game. Both those rosters are pretty stacked. Falcons at Saints. Niners, we already know that. We already know that one. Jaguars versus Texans. So there's your first kickoff game win. And then we know that one.
Who do I play?
What'd you say?
Who do I play?
You play. Let's see here. Jags.
Okay.
Yep.
I thought you said Giants for some odd reason. I'm like, really? I got to play Clyde my first game? Well,
Lions at Bears. lot of division games going on this first week. Packers at Vikings. Panthers at Patriots. That's a Super Bowl rematch from long ago. Raiders versus Chargers. Rams versus Commanders. Ravens versus Steelers. We know about that one. We know about that one. We know about that one. And we know about that one. Titans at Browns.
Who's Bengals?
What?
Who's Bengals got week 1?
You got the Colts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So computer team for you.
Perfect.
Yep. So just looking at a week 1, you guys can check out your individual. I'm not gonna go through the whole schedule, but that'll get you kicked off. Get you excited for it. Delmar Glaze.
Actually, I was going to say, what I would like to do, since we're kind of in the doldrums, that is, we're nearing the end of round 4. I was going to mention, as we get to Hawks pick, just a reminder for everybody for the schedule post-draft. What we're going to do after the draft is, and this will be probably after the show drops off air. I'm not sure how long Jupiter wants to keep this rolling. Usually I drop it off of air right as we finish the draft up. But essentially after the draft, we will go to preseason week 1 and kind of leave it for about 15 to 20 minutes to let guys set like their training regimens. So set your focus players and things of that nature. Once that's done, we will move to preseason week 4. That is outside the norm for us. Normally we like to do at least a week of preseason. We're trying to get to a regular season as quickly as possible, though. So we're going to move to preseason week 4 as quickly as possible to let teams set their 53-man roster and to do their practice squads. I will state for the record, it hasn't been posted anywhere yet. A lot of teams, including myself, have waited on doing their incentive stuff until post-draft. Normally, the off-season stuff has to be done before we start week 1. Because we're starting week 1 so quickly, though, we will give until the end of week 1 to post your off-season regimen stuff. Okay. That does not include things like Loomis Magic, which technically speaking ends as soon as this draft ends. So if you didn't use your Loomis Magic that you got for being a Tier 1 member, that's going to be gone. It's not going to be usable. But everything else as far as Tier 1 incentives and your off-season program stuff, all that you'll still be able to post until the end of week 1. After the end of week 1, or once we go to week 2, all incentive stuff and off-season stuff will be locked, so you won't be able to post anymore. So just kind of want to put that out there, since most of the guys are listening still at this point and hadn't completely tuned out. I want to kind of throw that out there so everybody knows the plan as we move forward. Does that make sense?
Yeah, as far as the show goes, I'm gonna at least go through the 5th round.
That's fine.
I'm gonna bring on Too Cold, to kind of finish us out here. Too Cold, you still with us, buddy?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
I'm glad to hear it, buddy. Hang in there. We're almost there. We're about to dip into the 5th round here in a second. So after the 5th round, I'm gonna shut the show down, and whoever wants to finish the draft can, and then like the commish said, we'll roll into week 1 here pretty quickly. Pretty excited about it. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I usually like to end out at that note. I'm sorry, Colt. I know you haven't talked in a while, so I'll let you talk for a little bit.
Oh no, I don't think he's gonna talk. We're gonna wait until his first pick in the 5th round.
That's fine.
Riley Moss. Must be a pretty quick white kid. Riley Moss, cornerback out of Iowa, or Iowa's Slim Pickens.
The Jacksonville Jaguars.
It could be both. It could be a little bit of both.
Yep, could be.
Khalija Canty, Khalija Canty. That's right. Out of Pittsburgh. I actually probably need to look at my draft board. What little I have of it. Because I'm on the board.
My next and final pick I think, is around 6, pick 7. So I'm definitely going to come off. Hey, Cold, we're in the 5th round, buddy. Everybody, round of applause for Cold. He finally gets to pick this round. We're excited for you, man.
Long time coming.
John Lynch and company really effed your draft. But, hey, Spencer Rattler taken. Look at that. Jeez.
The Panthers are on the
This
clock.
guy just
And
wants me.
taken by.
He wants me to hate him. Jaguars.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say.
Rattler with
He's going
96.
E1.
That's cap. That is cap. Okay. No, he doesn't. I hope he has 50s accuracy because he sucks. They ran him out of Oklahoma, and then I heard that they don't even like him in South Carolina. So.
It's okay. It's just a video game.
Oh, no, it's
video game representation. I think.
Yeah, absolutely. You're all right. No, I've just been following this D-bag since he was on that Netflix show, QB1 Under the Lights. So,
okay.
I cannot stand him. He is the most pompous person in the world. Yeah, I know you don't.
Don't hold back. Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to. Like, if you guys get a chance to watch QB1 Under the Lights, you'll understand what I'm saying. Yep, see, Ross agrees. So.
Yeah, well, look at that. See, Ross can agree with you on something.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the Detroit
Hey,
Lions.
I do want Amazing Forever to bring back his power rankings, man, and you can even come on the podcast and break them down for us and everything. Do that. That'd be a great, sweet segment. I think that Cold and I would really like that if you came on the show once a month or whatever. So.
With the next selection,
Anybody
Carolina
that wants to
Panthers
contribute to
on the clock.
y'all's podcast, go for it. So I'll still do my little weekly drop in from the corner, and if time permits, and you let me know when y'all are doing the show or recording, whatever, and I'm able to hop on, I'll be glad to hop on and talk something.
Well, we can also record segments, right, and just throw them in there, and almost like a radio show does with interviews that they've done. The sky's the limit here. Like this thing can be whatever the league wants it to be. So I'm open to all kinds of ideas, and if anybody has any, throw them our way. I just want this to be the most immersive place for simulation football that we possibly can be. We all know this game sucks, or the people that make it suck anyway. And
amen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Preach on, brother. Preach on. I'll just let you keep going.
No. I was just it's like I look at Madden like I look at my time in South Korea. It is what you make it. Like it can really suck and you can be drunk all the time, or you can have a really good time with your friends. Whatever you want to do. But that's exactly what 32 forever.
The Cleveland Browns are now on the clock.
Robert Cooper just got taken defensive tackle out of Florida State. I don't know who he is, but he's now the Panthers' latest player. Browns are on the clock as we wind down. I still don't see 49ers on the radar here, so we do have a little bit more talking. Who wants to talk about anything?
I tell you what. How about we talk about the latest news that dropped before we started the draft about EA sending out emails to folks offering them basically a code to the open or to the closed beta, and 50% off of Madden 24. What do you think of that, sir?
I walked in and I told my wife that, right? And she's like, she gave me the thumbs up, and I was like, it's not enough. And I walked back out of the room. So it's not enough.
So,
that sounds right. You're doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've already told leadership and in my last podcast I did for the corner, and I mentioned it on the podcast. I'm not buying Madden 24. I'm just not. And I know a couple of guys that said they're not buying it until December, until it drops in price. I'm not buying it. Period. I don't care if it's 50% off. I don't care if it's 75% off. The only way I'm buying this is if it's 100% off.
If that's the case, I might buy it for you because we need you. Like,
and I did say in my podcast, I'm like, that's not telling anybody, to buy it
With the next selection, the
I'm not buying
Saints
this.
are on
I'm
the
not
clock.
buying this.
The
They're not
Chicago
getting a dime
Bears
from
are
me.
on the clock
EA's
now.
not getting a single cent from me as far as Madden goes. I'm not doing it. I'm done. If I end up with a code for Madden 24,
The
then I'll play.
Bengals
But
now
I mean,
on the clock.
I'm not buying it. Like, it's not coming out of my pocket.
Well, if you're not here, who's
EA,
gonna run this place?
that's something that I guess we have to talk about when that bridge comes. So, but I've said my piece, and I'm like, I will play if I have a copy of it, but the copy is not going to be me putting a credit card or any sort of information in EA's pocket to pay for it. So I've told the leadership team that, and they've some of them have said the same thing. They're like, "We'll buy it for you," and I'm like, "Well, I'm not telling you to, but I mean, that's sort of where I'm at." So, um, you know, and I've been in the process, and I said this in the podcast. I've been in the process of trying to pull stuff to a neutral uh, Google account,
Mm-hmm.
so that way if something happens where I'm not around, people can still access the forums and still league business can still be conducted. And it's not. And by the way, I know this is a really downer way to get to the 49ers pick, but that's not to say I don't want to be here. Like, I enjoy this community. I really do. Like, this is a really, really good group of guys. This is probably the best group of guys I've had probably since the very beginning when we restarted in Madden
The
16.
Baltimore Ravens are
But
on the clock now.
at the same time, Madden's a trash product, and we all know it.
Yeah.
And after December 28th, I pretty much said no mas.
Yeah.
On the clock now.
I can't blame you.
And
Los Angeles
Can't blame it, but we
No,
we definitely want you, and we love you here,
With the next pick,
and
the Raiders
you
are
know,
on the clock.
with all the work you do around here, maybe we all pitch in. What's $5 to 30 dudes? So,
I mean, but that's sort of mentally where I'm at. Like, it's.
yeah, and I'm not saying that I want to
a big fan
give
of
money
playing
to
the
this
game.
shit company either, but like I said in the past, and this is why. I mean, I brought all these dudes with me, right? When I first came to you, and I said, hey, when Maniac brought me in here, and I was like, and I first came to you, I introduced myself. I said, I got about 9 dudes that roll with me, and you know, they're my core group of guys, and that's the thing is that we have a separate server that we all talk on, because some of them I know in real life, some of them I know through this. Chesky, Studley, Rusta, all these guys came in from PX1 with me back in 2016. So I'm not advocating that the game is great by any means, and obviously it's very frustrating. But it's the friends and the family, honestly, and the community that we build here. That, like I said, de-stresses me, honestly. Like my wife's like, I don't understand how you de-stress with this game. You're constantly screaming at it. I was like, yeah, but I mean, I'm literally like, I am literally exuding that stress out of my body, and having chess match like football games with people that I care about and that have shown me love in the past as well. So that's why I'd like you to stay around, and I don't mind, throwing in money. If you don't want to buy, that's fine, totally fine. But if we help you stay with us, then that's worth it to me. Q Blue Kelly just hidden for Meek Boy.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me! Really?
Yep, that's what.
Meek Boy getting a hit. You son. Oh, golly. Meek Boy is so lucky. Well, he's good. He's good and lucky. That's the worst kind of thing to be.
The New York Giants are now on the clock.
Oh wow! Talk about
Tyson
a flyer,
Bagent.
Tyson Bagent from
Hey, Shepherd University.
Man, I would have much rather taken Aiden O'Connell out of Purdue versus this guy.
Hark! On the horizon, I see the logo that says S&F on it. There it is.
Oh god.
Hey, we can see you, man.
I know.
This is amazing. What are you gonna pick?
Good Lord, I have no idea. I'm just gonna be grateful for whatever I get at this point.
You gonna close your eyes and hold down on the joystick, or?
Exactly. Give this to God.
It's the Dallas Cowboys.
All glory to God on this
right.
pick. Daniel Scott, free safety out of California, going to the Chiefs. Yeah, put some respect on Shepherd University.
Yeah. Maybe I draft a kicker and a punter at the end of this draft.
I'll be honest. I don't know where I'm going. 6th round pick. Maybe I'll take my 3rd quarterback. Maybe I'll take Aiden O'Connell and make him a happy man.
Yeah. We're getting into, let's see, we're a quarter to 11 p.m. Eastern time.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been doing this for almost 3 hours, right? Yeah, no, 2 hours.
2 hours, yeah.
Almost 2 hours. Yeah, almost 2 hours.
Oh!
Changing it to...
Oh! Cold.
Eric Grant.
You don't have just 1 pick coming up. You have 2 picks.
Wow.
Your brain must be in a pretzel.
Fantastic.
Wow.
I'm excited.
I can't wait to watch him.
Let's just
watch.
Let me not skip this pick. Let me make him wait the full 50 seconds.
Oh my God! Actually, I appreciate that. Oh, you didn't do it.
Nope.
Oh, he was kidding. He was totally kidding. We're not waiting for anybody.
Oh God.
Walk us through it, man. Hey, maybe we can get Hawk back in here to give you some advice.
You know what?
Oh, he probably won't though. He's your arch rival, the Seahawks.
You had 2 hours. You've had 2 hours to make your decision.
Yeah, I actually have.
What position are you looking for?
He is going to help you. That's how awesome of a guy he is.
Oh my God! Pause it.
No, you have a minute.
You got a minute.
Never mind. Hold on.
What you need?
You're the 49ers. You can always use a running back.
No, he has CMC, man.
What do you need?
Let's see.
40 seconds.
I'm gonna go with this left end.
All right.
Okay.
I don't know how to
Sounds
say
like
it.
a great pick. Well, we'll say
Don't do it too fast. Be careful. Really ease into it.
Next up, it's the Seahawks.
Donnell Harris Jr., left outside linebacker, Texas A&M.
Let's take a look at his stats.
And be quick about it because you got to pick in 3 more.
Oh, good Lord! you guys are great with pressure.
No pressure. It's just 2 CPU teams before you pick again, so I'm going to skip those real quick. It'll be right back to you.
No, you are.
Donnell Harris Jr. is... Where is he?
He's somewhere in there. He's way down in the depths.
Take your time, huh?
I don't think he should have been in this draft.
And I'm just going to take a swing at one of these centers.
Maybe he changed his name.
For it.
There's a Martell Harris Jr. What?
There it is.
Hidden?
Hidden depth.
Jeez.
Ricky Stromberg.
I'm going to guess that he
This sounds
changed
like
his
a
name.
center.
The Buffalo Bills are now on the clock.
86 strength, 81 acceleration, 70 agility.
Hey,
hidden
Cole,
depth. Not bad.
That linebacker you just took had 7 tackles and
are now on the clock.
let's see. He had 7 tackles, 2 sacks, and a forced fumble.
Apparently, cold sounds like an Autobot.
I'm totally zoning y'all out right now.
Actually, now that I hear him when he's panicked, trying to get his pick in, he does sound like one of the like from the Transformers movie, like the fast-speaking Autobot. He does sound a little bit like that.
Bumblebee.
No, it wasn't Bumblebee. It was somebody else.
Hey, how was that?
Bumblebee was too cool.
How was that pick?
Justin Eboigbe. Oh, God, he's from Alabama. Why did you take an Alabama guy?
Yeah, you know those are all reserved for
Because he knows he can trade him to Ross.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly. That's the plan.
Trade bait. I like it.
A Boygby. Let's see what we got here.
Autobots.
He had
Transform.
He had 11 tackles.
That was for Ross.
Sounds like Optimus Prime.
Oh, there he is.
Oh,
yeah, he just had 11 tackles. That's it. 5 of them were solo. So I'll take a good start.
D. Winters.
All right, 2 more picks, boys, and we're shutting the show down. Any closing thoughts?
I'm just trying to figure out how you go from Max Headroom to Optimus Prime. I don't know that those guys sound anything alike, but I've been told that I sound like both of them tonight. So,
but was it by Ross?
They were both by Ross. Yes.
Well, therein lies.
And I started off as a cop that would write my own mom or dad a ticket. So.
That was hilarious.
The peanut gallery is being the peanut gallery.
You know what, though? It's fun, and I enjoy it, and I love Ross for it. I know I'm not supposed to build his head up and tell him he's funny, but he is a funny guy.
No. See, now I got to deal with that in leadership chat.
Jeez. Well, we're on the last pick, boys. Any closing thoughts? Last pick for the show, anyway.
Let's get down to these last 2 rounds as quick as we can. Let's get to preseason. We'll hang out for a little bit. We'll get to preseason week 4. Let's get our roster set to 53 in practice squads, and let's get this show on the road. Let's get everybody get played again.
Let's do it.
My final thoughts would be that I really appreciate you guys putting this together. I appreciate the leadership of this league. I appreciate all the coaches in this league. This has been a crap season release, but being with this group of guys has made it fun, even when we can't even play. So I appreciate that. And this is the most fun draft I've ever been part of. So thank you guys.
We'll look forward to doing it again next time, because I hope we can do a draft show every draft, because I love doing these draft shows. So. And by the way, I'm gonna advance, and that ends round 5. So I guess. Juke, you want to shut her down?
I will do that, boys. It's been a pleasure. Can't wait to do this again. Look forward to the podcast and getting that rolling. I know Cole is as well, and I'm glad that he was able to make his 2 picks live on air. Probably super fulfilling for him. And I really thank all of you guys for tuning in tonight. And we got 16 viewers right now, so this has been awesome. And let's continue to build this thing. And we should all probably chip in and maybe get Winnibus 24, so he'll at least stick around for a little bit longer. Anyway, for myself, Juke, Cold, Win, rest of the team, we appreciate you. Thank you guys. Have a good night. Enjoy the season. Good luck.